AITA for kink shaming my mom? Honestly, I'm not even going to pretend this title is misleading. It's exactly as bad as it sounds. I personally feel completely justified for reacting the way I did, but apparently my parents think I'm the problem here. I'm 20 years old, and ever since I was a little kid, my mom has always worn this really pretty necklace. Nobody else had one like it. It was metallic, wrapped tightly around her neck, almost like a ring, and she literally never took it off. As a child, I absolutely loved it. I used to compliment it all the time and ask her where she got it. She always told me it was a gift from my dad. Well, last week she sat me down because apparently she wanted to tell me something important, and that's when my entire perception of my childhood completely shattered. She explained to me that she and my dad are in what she called a 24/7 BDSM relationship. Then she told me the necklace wasn't actually a necklace at all. It was a collar, and apparently my dad has the key to it. Honestly, I completely froze when she said that. The necklace I had admired since childhood, the thing I thought was beautiful and sentimental, was apparently part of their kink the entire time. And suddenly, I started rethinking my entire childhood. Every weird interaction, every strange behavior, every moment where she involved me in dynamics I never understood at the time. I completely lost it emotionally. I told her she was disgusting and immediately stormed out of the house. Since then, both my mom and dad have been blowing up my phone nonstop. My mom keeps accusing me of being a prude and a kink shammer, while my dad keeps insisting that their relationship is perfectly healthy and normal. But honestly, I don't even know how I'm supposed to process any of this. Right now, I genuinely can't even imagine forgiving her for telling me all of this in the first place. Some people online asked whether they ever did anything directly sexual around me growing up, and technically, no. But the more I learn about BDSM culture, the more disturbing things become for me personally. Because apparently a lot of BDSM people insist kink isn't always sexual, which means suddenly all these behaviors from my childhood apparently weren't innocent after all. Things like my mom constantly calling my dad sir, or immediately opening doors for him, or kneeling down to massage him after work. I genuinely thought all of that was just normal relationship stuff growing up. Another important detail here is that I'm actually asexual and deeply sex repulsed. My mom knows this, which honestly makes this entire conversation feel even more violating to me personally. People also kept asking how this topic even came up in the first place. The answer honestly makes it worse. I had simply complimented her necklace again and told her how much it meant to me emotionally because I associated it with my childhood. And apparently, that was the moment she decided to proudly explain the real meaning behind it, which honestly completely broke my heart. The more I think about it, the more old memories keep resurfacing in ways that make me deeply uncomfortable now. Memories I honestly think I repressed for years. My parents were constantly loud at night. I used to think they were fighting because my dad would call my mom degrading names and she'd cry or yell. Now, I genuinely don't even know anymore whether they were arguing or if that was somehow still part of their relationship dynamic. I remember my mom kneeling to shine my dad's shoes every single day while kissing his feet afterward. I thought that was just normal marriage behavior because it was all I grew up around. My dad once even told me directly that men have needs and that my mom's job was to satisfy those needs. Hearing that growing up genuinely made me sick to my stomach. And honestly, looking back now, I think growing up around all of this may actually be part of why I became so deeply sex repulsed in the first place. At this point, I honestly feel traumatized more than anything else. And what makes it worse is that so many people online keep dismissing my feelings and acting like I just need to grow up because talking about sex is normal. But to me, this doesn't feel normal. It feels like I spent my entire childhood unknowingly surrounded by my parents' kink dynamic without ever consenting to be part of it. And now I genuinely don't know what memories were real family interactions and what memories were secretly tied to their BDSM relationship the entire time. So, honestly, am I actually the asshole here? AITA for snitching on my entire class because they kept skipping school during exam week? Honestly, almost everyone at school now hates me over this, but part of me still feels like I wasn't completely wrong. Before I explain what happened, I need to give some context about how my high school works. Students under 18 aren't allowed to leave school grounds during the day unless they have permission from their parents. The rule exists because technically, while we're supposed to be in class, the school is legally responsible for us. So if someone leaves without permission and something happens, the school could get blamed for it. The thing is, though, the rule is incredibly easy to break. The only real obstacle is the main entrance. And if nobody's watching, students can literally just walk out and leave. Because of that, tons of students do it constantly. Unless a teacher catches you in the act, they usually don't even bother checking whether you actually had permission to leave or not. Recently, we had exam week right before Christmas break. Since there weren't many real classes besides exams, a huge number of students started coming only for their exams and then immediately leaving afterward to go home and study. Basically, people were skipping every non-exam class because they claimed they could study better at home. At first, I tried ignoring it, but eventually it started seriously bothering me. Almost everyone in my class was doing it except for my friend group and a few other students, and honestly, it felt unfair. They were breaking the rules while the rest of us stayed at school all day, actually following them. Meanwhile, they got extra study time at home and probably better exam preparation because of it. Eventually, I got frustrated enough that I decided to tell our head teacher what was happening. I explained that tons of students were leaving early without permission during exam week. And honestly, the teacher took it way more seriously than I expected. He announced to the entire class that from then on, if anyone left school early without a proper explanation, they'd receive an official written warning that their parents had to sign. And apparently, getting more than 3 of those warnings could actually get you expelled. Needless to say, my classmates were furious. By Thursday, multiple people confronted me directly because they figured out I was the one who reported it. They basically said I had no business interfering in whether they attended class or not. They were especially angry because now they'd have to stay at school even if a teacher was absent or there was basically nothing happening in class. I tried explaining that it gave them an unfair advantage academically because they got extra study time, while the rest of us followed the rules and stayed at school all day. But their response was basically, if you think it's unfair, then just skip too instead of snitching. And honestly, that's where I started questioning whether I actually handled this badly. Because even students who don't skip classes themselves still seem upset with me. Most people agree the rule itself is stupid, and they think it simply wasn't my place to get involved. Their argument is that other people's attendance choices aren't my business, especially since some students may have legitimate personal reasons for leaving early sometimes. But at the same time, I know most of them were leaving specifically to study at home because they openly admitted it themselves. And I still can't shake the feeling that it was unfair for them to basically get rewarded for breaking rules while everyone else followed them properly. Now almost my entire class dislikes me because of this situation. And honestly, the atmosphere at school has become incredibly awkward ever since. So now I genuinely don't know anymore. Was I justified for reporting them, or was I just being a snitch for no reason?